I wanna take you for a ride.
Hey everyone, it's Kickscammer time, the show where I, DJ Slope, along with the help from my Kickscammer detective agency on Discord, find the absolute worst Kickstarters, the scammiest IndieGoGos and most disgraceful GoFundMes to ever find their way onto the crowdfunding platform. And today, I plan to go back and look at the worst of the worst in my 5th compilation of Kickscammer segments. Now that's what I call Kickscammers, Volume 5 to be precise, and in this one I plan to look at 5 strange campaigns. Campaigns created by the oddest people, campaigns that made little to no sense, campaigns that will make you think, who would even create a campaign like this in the first place? Well, they're all here in this video. So no messing around, it's time to look at Kickstarter's idiotic campaigns. Welcome to Slope's Game Room. This is my daughter Annabelle. Wave, Annabelle. Oh, isn't she amazing? She may look adorable now, but as a father to a young, pretty and innocent girl such as this, I know that when she gets older, those teenage years are gonna be hard. Especially when she brings home a boy. You're alright, mate. You can get as many girls as you want. Go on, my son. However, for Annabelle, it's a different story. What is this new boyfriend's intentions with my daughter? What sort of car is he driving? Is it safe? Why isn't he calling me Mr. Ibbotson? And what's all this nonsense about him wanting to be a bloody YouTuber when he grows up, huh? Not under my watch, sunshine. Ugh. It's inevitable. If only there was a way that I could somehow know what sort of spotty brat was gonna be turning up before he even arrives. Well, now you can, because Joe L. Scott, who is just trying to look out for his daughter, is going to be creating a dating app for his kids. But the big twist is the parents use it. Confused? Of course you are. Well, to tell the truth, it's not exactly an app where parents choose which young lads will date their daughters, but instead a ranking system where overprotective dads can judge a young boy on such things as his hobbies, does he drive, his sports activities. But that's just the tip of this awesome app's iceberg. Because you can also check out reviews from other parents who have had this little yob dating their daughters too. These reviews include the reliability of the kid, punctuation, politeness, demonstrations of respect, as well as listing the kid's tattoos and piercings too. By the end of it all, you will be safe in the knowledge that your daughter is dating the right type of boy. Well, obviously, this idea never happened, and considering the campaign needed only $150, it only managed to get $2 from 2 backers. Perhaps it was because the only tier available was obviously the free app for $100. Such a stupid campaign. If only Joe thought it through a little better. Then, you never know, it could have happened and all us dads could all literally have filofaxes of young boys and their interests in our pocket. Yeah, that got weird quick. Hey there guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. Before going ahead, I just want to give a big shout out to this video sponsor, Skillshare, who are here to make your life a whole lot better. Sign up for free for a whole month by being one of the first 1,000 people to actually click that link below and get access to a whole heap of courses that will feel like they're tailor-made just for you. For instance, I use the site constantly to find ways to improve the quality of the channel. The Vegas Pro courses are always teaching me new ways to improve the quality of the Complete History and Kickscammer series. And of course, as I explore the more professional side of editing with programs like After Effects and Premiere, well, I've got more classes here than I could ever know what to do with. But of course, it's not all about the editing of your videos, it's also learning how to promote your channel the right way. Lily Singh's video storytelling class, MKBHD did an awesome class on how to script, shoot and edit your content, whether you're into animation, editing tips, graphic design. Seriously, you will get lost on this site as it really does have so much to offer. Plus, as stated, it is free for the first month if you're one of those first 1,000 people to click the link below. Fans of the show have already been reporting how they've been using Skillshare to make their channels better and more well known, and well, now it's your turn to join in. Make 2022 the year of you and get on over to Skillshare and start exploring your creativity today. Thanks for checking out this little video segment and thanks Skillshare for sponsoring. Now let's get on with the video. Our journey begins the same day that the Kickstarter begins, back on the 21st of March 2013, when a young Mackenzie Wilson, who was 9 years old, in 3rd grade education and getting nothing but straight A's, decided to show her two older, meaner brothers what for. The first few paragraphs read incredibly well, explaining that some of her favourite pastimes were playing games like Magic the Gathering, Dragon Age 2 and Borderlands 2 with her dad, as her two older brothers were just too mean to play with her. And she also dabbles in the odd Dungeons and Dragons tournament at the weekends too. Mackenzie isn't the standard girly girl and she explains this in the description too. I have friends that are, which is fine, but I hate wearing dresses, so I don't. And I do lots of stuff my brothers do. Maybe if I had sisters it would be different, but I really love my family, even when my brothers are mean to me. So I guess this is the way my life is supposed to be. The whole brothers picking on her thing gets mentioned quite a few times throughout the description, which I do find odd, as it's actually all under her mum's name, one Susan Wilson, as Kickstarter's terms of service only allow for 18-year-olds and above to create crowdfunding campaigns on their website, you know, for obvious reasons. Anyway, the reason her brother's picking on her gets mentioned so much is because that's the main basis behind this campaign. She asked them to help her make an RPG with RPG Maker, but they weren't interested. So she's asking for $829 of your money to go to one of those American camps for a week entitled Role-Playing Game Design with RPG Maker. And that's honestly it. What you're looking at is essentially one of those feel-good campaigns that most definitely did pull on the heartstrings of parents and RPG lovers enough to get it all the way up to $24,534 by 1,442 backers, completely smashing the original target. For those backers, it didn't really matter if the game was rubbish. Heck, it was more than likely going to be a bit rubbish, because this was her first attempt at not only a game like this, but also its software. All people really cared about was helping a young girl fulfill her dreams, all the while sticking a middle finger, or should I say blowing a raspberry, at her two older, meaner brothers. And to those people, they no doubt were very happy with the result, as the game, which was ever so slightly delayed, was eventually released as Truth and Trolls. And here it is. So, you know, that's all of the good. Where are the issues here? Well, they actually started early in the campaign's life. Firstly, it was very obvious that this campaign was at least portrayed to look like it was written by the 9-year-old herself, with stuff like, my diary's usually hidden because my thoughts, ideas and game notes are top secret, and my brothers are brats. And although it's not 100% confirmed, it's incredibly obvious that it was actually written by her mum, as it goes into way too much detail about not enough women in tech and joking about her mum's age. Regardless, it kind of makes sense, I suppose. Otherwise, as stated, it goes against the rules of the website. Anyway, it's when looking at her mum a little bit more, you start to realise there is actually more to this story than meets the eye. Firstly, her previous campaign was hardly a campaign at all. The Cape Project. It needed 20,000 and it didn't even hit 500. And honestly, I'm not exactly 100% sure what she's actually offering here. I think it's a cape for kids who like to pretend they're superheroes or something. I don't know, it's all very, very odd and incredibly badly put together. Hence why it did so bad. But looking into Susan Wilson elsewhere does indeed make for some interesting reading, and skeptical people looking at this tiny campaign found quite a bit. The first red flag was the fact that this woman was actually, well, she was pretty damn rich. In an interview with Kotaku, she claims that she isn't the millionaire that the internet claims that she is, but at the same time, in 2009, she was one of Fortune's top 10 female entrepreneurs, meaning that yes, she did have quite a nice chunk of change. So the question is, why does she need a measly $829 to send her daughter to an RPG camp? She could easily pay for that herself. And whilst we're at it, why did an $829 campaign also have a tier for $10,000? Yet again, poking fun at her brothers, or if it's written by her mum, her own sons. Which reads, Rockstar Reward Level. At this level you get everything from the previous levels plus a personal apology from her brothers and the satisfaction of knowing that you've not only started a career, you've also helped to fund future courses in computer programming for her along with more and better games. Now, just like some of you watching, speculation began to arise on places like Reddit, NeoGAF and 4chan as posts started digging deeper into this one, as not only did the campaign go against Kickstarter's terms of service, being kind of created by someone under the age of 18, but it can also be looked at as funding education and or a charity to a degree, and that too was against the rules and regulations of Kickstarter. But that's not all, because it's also stated that sending unsolicited tweets promoting your page is also against the rules too. And Susan went a little crazy doing just that, sending mean older brothers say she can't, so 9-year-old daughter proving she can build an RPG game and pay for it to people such as Woman Tech News, The Ellen Show, Lady Gaga and just so many others. It's ridiculous. One of the more important things to think about here is that the campaign was released at a time when females in the technology space was a hot topic. I mean, it always has been, and yes, I'm sure we can all agree that having a good gender split in pretty much any field is a good thing, but back then it was the talk of the town, and it seems that this campaign came out at just the right time to coincide with that. And because of this, the subreddit Men's Rights saw this whole thing as a way to simply take advantage of the argument. Millionaire using Kickstarter to send her daughters to programming camp, exploiting current gender issues. The claim, whether you agree it or not, was put forward with images from the campaign showing off the word STEM quite a few times, which was a popular topic at the time, debating women in STEM fields, and of course the video itself showing images like these. The whole thing just blew up with some people arguing it's okay and others, well, they hated it, discovering even more stuff about her, like the fact that she did a little bit of cyber squatting, as seen here, where she's actually trying to sell 50 Shades domains. People also started damning her for letting a 9-year-old child play on games that were obviously very M-rated, and even finding 3 previous campaigns from her back over on Indiegogo, all of which didn't hit their goal, but as always on Indiegogo had flexible funding, resulting in her getting a combined total of 2,570, and one of which was a $40 phone case, which yes, is believed to be the exact same phone case that you can buy here from Alibaba. Now, I can't confirm if all of these were delivered or not, but hey, it does paint quite a nice picture for Susan Wilson, right? So, by this point, you are all sitting on either side of the blame game. Is it just a bunch of trolls trying to ruin a feel-good project and a mum trying to use her kids to gain a cool $20,000? Or is it simply just a feel-good campaign where everyone on the internet should just chill out? Well, Kickstarter themselves actually saw no issue with the project, saying that it wasn't against their rules, but instead what people were backing was to get a video game which is completely fine. No charity, no education fees, and no underage wrongdoings were going on here. Or at least that's the way that they looked at it. By the time the campaign came to an end, the majority of people that pledged a quid or two backed out, as they had only done so just to voice their opinions in the comments section. But besides all of this, as stated, with only a short delay, the game was complete. Truth and Trolls. And, like I said, here it is. The game itself seems fine. Honestly, I'm not a fan of RPGs myself, so I find it super boring and tedious. But if this really was made by a 9-year-old girl, I can't deny it's actually quite impressive. Now, the game did only end up being released in chapters, and sadly not everything is available to me, but it looks as if the game got to a good state before being released, although sadly, from what I have read in the comments, it was never finished. However, they did let people that use RPG Maker to have a go at changing up or editing it if they wanted by releasing the source code. A project asking for less than $900 but getting well over $20,000 and not being finished? Well, it's hard to kick off here, isn't it? Considering the creator was 10 years old by the time it was released. But with that said, according to Kenzie's own Twitter, it seems that the whole RPG summer camp thing just didn't work out. And with her mum signing up to DeviantArt and plenty of quite high-end game choices made within RPG Maker, there is a strong belief that Mackenzie didn't make the game at all. And the updates continued to come in, sometimes pretending to be her and sometimes 100% being posted by her mum. Susan and Mackenzie ended up getting a free Alienware laptop and free flights to see game designers whilst all of this was being promoted during its life. Which begs the question, where did the $20,000 go? It was a tiny game believed by most to not be made by the young girl, and guys, that's the issue. Everything from this whole thing has now gone. The website associated to it, the Facebook page, and even Kenzie's own Twitter page has stopped being updated as well. And unless you know where you're looking, it's unlikely that you will ever get to play Truth and Trolls. Heck, even some of the backers never got to try it, leaving people that were anti the project and who were secretly hoping this would fail filling up all those old forum posts in the comment section with "the brothers were right." To this day, people still do talk about this whole thing, and the arguments about its legitimacy seem to be the main topic of conversation. It seems to me that nothing has changed. Susan is still a money-hungry businesswoman doing whatever she can to make it into the world of business, which she seems to be quite successful at, to be fair, and in most people's opinion, this was just another one of her get-rich-quick ideas as she continued to push her girl power attitude out to the world. I mean, seriously, you only need to read the odd blog post from this lass to see that she seriously isn't a very big fan of successful guys in general. The whole thing may have started off innocently enough, and Kickstarter themselves may not have seen this as anything but game creation with no spamming or educational fees involved, but for the most part it seems that the internet doesn't agree. So, for the first time ever on Kickscammers, was this a scam? Well, that's up to you to decide. The more I research it, the more I see that pretty much everyone believes that it is, painting Susan Wilson as the most evil woman on Kickstarter. If this really was created by a 9-year-old girl, then you know what? It's amazing. But for me, there's way too much evidence here that shows off Susan and her small DeviantArt army as the real creators of Truth and Trolls. Looking at the simple maps used in the final product, it seems that this would have cost practically nothing. In any other campaign like this, Truth and Trolls being the final product, well, it would have been met with an extreme amount of backlash. However, in this case, Susan used her daughter as the face of the campaign and her sons as the punching bags. What do you think? Don't blink or you'll miss what is possibly the most simple and boring campaign I have ever come across. Technically it's not video game related, but it is still gaming related. You see, good old James Conine is obviously a big fan of Magic the Gathering. Only problem is, he hasn't got many friends. James is getting more and more wound up with the lack of newcomers to his new favourite card game. And to fix this, you can pay for him to proselytise, in other words convert, players of other CCGs, that's card collectible games, by offering them a free booster draft. Which obviously isn't free, because you're paying way over the odds for crappy Magic the Gathering cards. If all of this is going over your head, what he's basically saying is, if you pay me, I'll teach you how to play Magic the Gathering. And who knows, you may even become gaming buddies. And how much did this cost you? Well, there are several tiers ranging from $5 to $100. And depending on what you choose, you'll get some of James's old crappy cards to use in your introductory battle. In other words, it's not a crowdfunder, it's a marketplace. And this is why Kickstarter themselves shut the project down when it hit only $2 of its made up $250 target by 2 backers. Which I assume are the only 2 people to comment in the comment section, both of which were not fans. So, here's an odd one, not really a scam per se, but still rather funny. What you are seeing on the screen is a nice digital rendition of how Pegasus, the next generation in abstract strategy games, will play. As you may have guessed, and as the campaign suggests, the game was going to be a game for fans of more traditional classic games such as checkers, Othello and chess. That's fair enough. If you make a simple game like that work, you have something not only easy to produce, but cheap to buy and hopefully incredibly addictive. The sky really is the limit if you get this right. However, as I'm sure you'll all agree, this video doesn't actually tell us anything on how this game will be played. So looking down in the description, you get a brief rundown on the rule set. Choose a side, black or white game pawn. Each player takes turns placing their pegs on the board one at a time. Once a peg is placed, it cannot be moved unless under game rules. Player may not place pawn and make a diagonal move of another pawn. Player loses turn when choosing to jump before pawn placement. A player can only pass after his or her game pawns are out of home board. Game pawns can be used to build walls to gather and free captured pawns. Captured pawns have minor restrictions under game rules. All pawns must remain on board until the victory is declared unless under game rules. And capture as many of your opponent's pawns to claim control of the game board and colour of Pegasus before jumping and confront your opponent's pawns head on. Yeah, it kind of makes sense, but also not at all. So far it seems to play kind of like Othello, jumping over opponents and changing their colour. Perhaps a tutorial would help. I mean, it's pretty much a standard for these board game Kickstarters to teach you actually how to play it, am I right? Nope, there's nothing here. He hasn't even made a prototype of this one on the Kickstarter or any of the other free campaigns that he's made for this board game. And let's be honest, that can't exactly be hard. I mean, it's pretty much just a chessboard, right? Well, obviously, it failed. None of the campaigns did what they needed to do, probably because it was going to cost backers $100 each for a copy of the game, and the goals were stupidly high, asking for $300,000 for, yet again, a 10x10 grid and a handful of black and white pegs. However, the stupidity of these failed campaigns are not yet over. You see, the board game community are really a nice bunch of chaps, and when they see a project like this obviously setting itself up for failure, they came in floods, dropping down $1 a piece so that they can get access to the comment section to be constructive criticizers and to offer their help. And this is where the idiocy of Pegasus Games really does shine through. Not to sound unappreciative, but damn. For a $1 pledge, you'll really have a lot to say about my campaign. You acted like you just handed over thousands and risked the chance of an investment loss. I'll ask you all to read the comment guidelines because you're all jerks. Gallon, if you don't like a project, don't back it. Simply move along. Quote Kickstarter. Oh my god, why am I being singled out here? These comments go on and on. Almost everybody that backed to try and help ended up getting in an argument with the campaign owner before removing their pledge. Oh no, please don't take back your dollar, lol. I'll leave one final comment right here. Are you a child? Then why are you throwing a tantrum? Violent temper is going to get you nowhere with me. If you were to act appropriately, then maybe I'll take you seriously. Words to live by, Pegasus. Words to live by. let's chat about Ilma Gore. That name may be a little bit recognisable to you because she recently did this. A naked painting of Donald Trump with a micro penis, along with plenty of other world leaders too. Now, there actually is a documentary coming out about this particular picture and the big fiasco that went around it, and Ilma Gore herself as well, of course. Whether you agree with this or not, it's down to you. She's obviously a very controversial artist, resulting in attacks supposedly being made onto her by Trump supporters. Honestly guys, this mess is all up for debate and I'm not speculating either way. All I can tell you is that Ilma gets onto the front page of news outlets all around the world for quite a few rather controversial reasons. And you can argue that this all started back on January the 10th, 2015 over on Kickstarter, when she created the campaign that instantly blew up, asking people to donate as little as $10 each to get their name or whatever they wanted tattooed onto her until it covers her entire body.
I want to be a singular tattoo for my latest art exhibition, and I want it to be your names. This is going to be an art exhibition in LA featuring my body and your names. I think the tattoo on my forehead says it best. Life is art. There is something absurd and beautiful about having an accumulation of absolute strangers' names draped over my pale goth skin. Even if half of them are penis butt. Why, you might ask? Simply because I can. I know what I'm about, son, and I am my own ultimate canvas. Like my art exhibitions and murals, this is a social and artistic experiment. Each person's name to me represents you, the main protagonist in your own story. I will be covered in 100 tiny stories.
And as it's on this list, it actually got suspended by Kickstarter, obviously, only 5 days after it went live, although it did manage to get itself up to $11,072 by 469 backers. Which means that not only do you get your $10 reward tattooed on her leg, or you and a friend next to each other for $25, or even the $50 reward of both of the previously mentioned, plus a graphite picture from Ilma of what you would look like if you was made out of ham. Because, you know, art. Thankfully, all of the backers managed to get their wishes anyway, as the campaign ended up going over to GoFundMe, and although that too got suspended eventually, it did actually manage to raise over $17,000, with the money being donated to a youth organisation called SPY. As of the making of this video, it's not actually finished yet, but still, she's done a hell of a lot of it. So, what do you think? Is this art? Was Kickstarter right to suspend this project and GoFundMe right to eventually remove this project from their website? Is getting a tattoo of a name on your body a stupid idea? Or is it a really good idea? Hey there guys, DJ Slope here from Slope's Game Room. I apologise, I'm just getting over COVID. I've no voice whatsoever, so I'm going to play the reel from my last video I did, and hopefully I'll be back up and running soon. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye. Hey there guys, thanks for checking out Gallagher the Complete History. Yes, I've been working on this one for quite some time, and I actually ended up doing the second half of this without any internet. I'm without internet right now. Yeah, I'm having a few problems in the back end, that's why I'm not live streaming and stuff at the moment, but please do stick with me. I've got something I'm working on which is pretty big, collaboration effort with a few other YouTubers like Ashins and Smiley Dave and a few others, so please do keep an eye on all of that, and hopefully I will be all back up online, and hopefully there'll be a video next weekend as well. Regardless, thank you all for checking out this video. I am super proud of this one. I hope you guys liked it, and yeah, I'm already working on the next Complete History. I'm already working on the next Kickscammer as well, so thank you all, thank you all, thank you all. But of course, you guys already know that if you are Patreons and YouTube members, like all of these awesome people are, who support the show every week and allow me to make videos like these. So let's give a massive, massive shout out, shall we, to those supporters that do support me every single month. With an extra big shout out going to Aaron Gorman, Agro Crag, Akatimo84, Andrew Dalton, Arista, Benjamin Guy, Big Rico, Bram Perez, Chevmatic, Chris the Shapeshifter, Chris Walker, Christopher DeVero, Clan Bob, Conrad Constantine, The Action Saxon, Daniel Terrazes, Dina81, Diggsy B, Game Apologist, Gary Pinkett, Ian Quell, Intrigued Gaming, Itelka Teacher, The Ashen Knight, Jay is Manchild, Jabba Al Aiden, James, Jeff Mianowski, Jeremy Bauer, Jeremy Rodriguez, Josh Gibbons, King Link Reviews, King of Carrot Flower, Lucas Softel, Luke Jorgensen, Man Shovel, Matt Jackson, Michael Ridley Dash, Mike Fallon, Mind of the Unsane, Nicholas Bertner, Nick Pollard, Over Charles Zane, Roll VP, Ray Blair, Retro to Next Gen aka Lou, Richard Aldejig, Rovan Army, Ryan Holtz, Sir Nilsson, Shade Silence, Shadow Dragon, Solix Captor, Stephen, Taylor Rainwater, That Gamer, The Cunning Linguist, The Sneaky Ferret, Tim Lund, Todd Paul Float, G, Vitus Varnes, Vike Echo, Wobbles and Bean, The Wonder Ducks, and Ye Old Hamburglar. As stated, guys, these people right here allow me to make these videos every single week, however I release them, and all of the extra stuff I'm putting up on the extra channel and all of my socials as well. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. Cannot thank you enough. If you guys want to support the show, just like all of these awesome people did, then go and check the links down below and do that very thing. It really does help the show, and yeah, it means I get to continue making these awesome videos. So thank you all so much, and hopefully you've hit subscribed if you haven't already, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.